How to become detached and still get everything you want using the law of attraction. That sounds amazing, doesn't it? More peace of mind and getting everything you want. This is Jake Ducey with JakeDucey.com, and let's dive right into it. So the first thing to realize, if you want to be detached from the outcome and you want to have peace, because what happens is, right, like we're such a goal-oriented society that we really want something, but then all along the process of it, it stresses us the hell out. We're stressed, we're worried, we're doubting ourselves, it's scary, it's fearful, it's anxious. All of that energy comes up. But it doesn't have to be that way, because you're actually one with everything. There's one source of origination in the entire universe. Albert Einstein said that particles don't create other particles. What are particles? Particles are the building blocks of what we see as matter, your wall, your camera, your computer, all of that. Albert Einstein said particles don't create other particles. In his E equals MC squared, what he found out was that matter and light, matter and energy are so connected that they're actually one and the same. That there's this non-physical energy. In fact, 99.999% of atoms is pure empty space. What's an atom? The building blocks of our physical world. 99% of that is pure empty space. It's non-physical energy. You can call that source God, love, spirit, energy, universe, consciousness. It doesn't matter what you call it. Alan Watts said you can't get wet by the word water. You can't get wet by the word water. It doesn't matter what you call it. You can call it God, love, universe, spirit, energy, consciousness, whatever you want to call it, doesn't really matter, man. But the reality is, it's the building blocks of who I am and who you are. Consciousness, energy, what is thought? It's non-physical energy, non-physical consciousness that we can't see. What is the wall? If you look under a powerful enough microscope, it's pure energy. This all being so, you are one with everything. You're one with everything and you're one with your source. And when you realize that, then there's no need to fret and worry that much. Some of it's going to come with time, because every thought that we think fires a brain cell, a nerve cell in our brain. That's wiring together when we think habitual thoughts over a long period of time. So you have neurocircuitry in your brain that's wired in the way that you think most habitually. So let's say, I'll use my own example. I wanted to be, a very influential thought leader and author and speaker, and I wanted to be successful at this. But 6 years ago, that was like it made no sense. Nonsense. It was nonsense. Because nothing with my physical senses could tell me that that was possible. So it was nonsense. It was nonsense. There was nothing in the world that could tell me it was possible. I was 19 years old. I dropped out of college. I failed junior English class in high school. I did very bad on my SATs. I was a C student. I was not a good writer at all. It was a joke about it. The only reason I got into college is because I was a first team All San Diego basketball player. My mom helped me with my college admission essays. Like, I was the worst. I thought I was prescribed Adderall. I thought I had ADD. And then I'm like, I'm going to become an author. And so it's really easy to get in this place where I worry and I fret and I fear all about that stuff in the process of that. And all of those thought processes that I had about my past that I just shared with you, 19, dropped out of college, failed junior English class. Every time I think a thought, I identify it. This is who I am, right? I'm this guy that failed this and I failed this and I did bad at this. It's neurologically wiring my brain in a certain way. My brain synapses are wiring together, forming my identity. Your brain hardwires that way. This is all neuroscience. This is all proven. And so the result of that is your brain when it wires like that, it fires in similar ways. So it's very easy for me to think that's who I am, but it's not who I am. But it's going to take time for me to release that idea. That all being so, if you have negative thoughts, recognize that's just your neurocircuitry, your old hardwired brain that might take some time to get reprogrammed. You just remind yourself, oh, that's my old hardwired brain. You have this other thing in your brain called your amygdala. Your amygdala is your fear, worry center of your brain. And when that fires, you can just say, oh, it's my amygdala. Your amygdala, we used to need all the fear and all the worry and all the doubt because we used to need to run from giant things that could eat us. That's what our ancestors needed. Now we don't, so our amygdala fires all the time at things that aren't really that important. Well, they're gonna say no to you. Well, if you go for your dream job, oh, if you ask for a raise, something bad's gonna happen. And so we're always in this state of worry and doubt about ourselves. But when you recognize all of that is programming, oh, that's just my programming, ha ha ha. Ha ha ha, just joking. So that's all your programming, right? And when you recognize that and you say, okay, everything in the world is pure energy and I'm one with it, then I'm not separate from what I want to attract in my life. And I'm not separate from God or source or the universe or whatever you want. If I'm not separate from what I want to attract and I'm not separate from God or source, there's no need to worry. So that's how you become detached. Because you already know you're one with it in the first place. And you know that there's a law of perpetual transmutation of energy, meaning that energy is always moving into different forms. Energy can never be created or destroyed. It can only move into different forms. It can be an ice cube. Eventually it'll turn into water. You leave it out there. Eventually the water will evaporate and it will go into a gas state. Well, the same thing happens with the energy of thought. It's in a non-physical state, i.e. it's similar to a gas state, right? You can't see it. Then over time, as your brain starts to wire with the certain brain cells and nerve cells because you're using your affirmations, you've set your goals, you download my free success hypnosis, jakeshypnosis.com. Download that right now. We have 65,000 thoughts in a day, 70% of them are negative and redundant. And when you use that, you're starting to fire nerve cells based off of abundance, prosperity, and success. When you do all of those types of things, you start to wire your brain in a different way. So you go from this non-physical thought that seemed like nonsense because nothing in your physical world could tell you your dream was actually possible. Slowly you start to hardwire your brain in a new way, and the results start to go from just an invisible dream that you didn't really even think was possible to becoming a reality. And then reality goes, the people in the world go, oh, you're such a visionary. Like, right, Steve Jobs, Oprah, all those people, we call them visionaries. Why? Because they had a vision in their mind that was not reality and they created it as reality, so we call them a visionary. So just relax, recognize that you're one with the source of all things. You're one with everything that you want to attract in your life. Because everything comes from one causal energy, spirit, God, love, consciousness, whatever you want to call it. We're all built of the same thing. So I can't even be separate from what I want to attract in my life. And that's a sign for like triumph and celebration. Not worrying, not fretting, hey, will this work, will this not work? If you show up every single day this year, you show up every day, you work hard every single day, you move forward confidently in the direction of your dreams, things will start to manifest. It's the things that happen in between that where we say, well, it's not happening yet, maybe I'm not good enough, maybe God doesn't want this to be, maybe the law of attraction doesn't work. No. That's the sign for you to keep going, because the point of a challenge isn't to kill you, it's to transform you, it's to shape you into a bigger person. The point of a goal isn't what you get, but who you become. So ask yourself, who is this dream asking me to become? Who is this challenge asking me to become? And recognize that if you keep showing up, Spirit never manifests itself other than perfectly. Your desire will show up, because if you had it, you have the ability to realize that. This is Jake Ducey with JakeDucey.com, talking about how to be detached and attract what you want in your life. Download my free success hypnosis, jakeshypnosis.com. Download that, because we got to start reprogramming the subconscious mind so that we can unconsciously attract what we want into our lives. Press the subscribe button right over there in the corner, and I'll see you on the next video. Have an awesome day.